Hey there, welcome to another emulation tutorial video, or emulator tutorial video. Today we're going to go over the PlayStation Portable emulator, which is called PPSSPP. Other than having a rather amusing name, this emulator is really good. As in, really, really good. So obviously it loads up here, as you can see. Let me just maximize the window. So, yeah, it's showing my most recently played. When you get it out the setup wizard, it will look plain here for you. What you can do is you can press on games and then click browse and set up your directory folder when you have games that are already like downloaded and ready. We'll get on to the how to put games on here in a moment. But when you do this, all of your games will be put in a nice list for your convenience. This definitely saves a lot of time other than pressing file, load, and then going through a list that way. Naturally, you've got your settings and stuff here. When I got this out of the setup wizard, it adapted to my hardware. For each bit of hardware, I suggest, well, not hardware, but for each setting, I suggest playing around with it when you're playing games and trying to get stuff to run a bit better. Other than that, you can look online and find like a bunch of settings for low end stuff, which will then make things run a bit better for you. You can do homebrew and demos on here, by the way. If you are very good at doing the homebrew stuff, you'll be right at home here. I don't really play around with homebrew stuff because I don't really have the ins and outs of how to get this kind of thing working. Also, I'm not really sure what I'd want homebrew to do for me personally, but if you're that way inclined for homebrew and you feel like playing around with it, you can, which is quite nice. So I'm going to quickly load up a game and show you the game in action, just to demo things a little bit. I'll load up 2 games just to show you it working. So I'm going to load up. Oh god, that was a bit loud. So I'm going to load up Dynasty Warriors. Not Dynasty Warriors. Warriors Orochi 2 is what I mean. I'm going to quickly go into the free mode and I'll show you the gameplay.
Such a tempting invitation.
I will prove myself to the men of this age.
Just pick 3 waifu characters, because why not? And jump right into the gameplay.
She sows discord wherever she goes. We must stop her. Forward!
Yeah, it's my ability that I've just used.
Oh, so Liu Bei does actually. How fascinating.
So yeah, as you can see, the game's running fine here. I can do all my attacks and stuff like that.
What?
Amazing voice acting, by the way. 10 out of 10.
The enemy is right in front of us and not be able to act.
I can do my little special Muso ability.
You're all so easy. All right, boys. They're sitting ducks. Finish them off.
So yeah, this runs fine, as you can see. I'll press on File and close the emulation. No, emulation, then stop. There we go. So as you can see, Warriors Orochi 2 runs fine. I'll quickly load up Tekken as well to show you that as well. Tekken 5 is a good game. Used to play it a lot all the time back in the day. Just have a quick battle real fast.
Welcome to the King of Iron Li Chalan. Julia Chang.
Against Julia.
Get ready for the next battle.
Good match. But yeah, as you can see, this is running fine.
Round 1. Fight.
can. I can't believe Julia Chang's like getting the better of me right now. This just became more interesting. Once again, I got the win. So yeah, as you can see, yeah, this runs fine.
You win.
Just runs as exactly how I remember it on PSP, pretty much. So you're probably wondering, how do you get PSP games to run on here? Well, the thing is, the games run on a file type called an ISO file, or an ISO. When you download it, it'll come as a 7Z folder. And traditionally, Windows will not allow you to traditionally extract it like you could a regular zip folder, for example. So what I'm going to quickly do is, I'm going to close off my PSP emulator, and I'm going to quickly show you how to do it. Whoops, that's my that's my USB stick that I'm recording on right now. So here we are. In my download section, I have 3 SBK games, which are Superbike World Champion games. I'm going to preface this multiple times just so people, you know what to do. What you'll want is, you'll want a program called 7-Zip, or the other one is Express Zip. There's probably a bunch of other zip folder extracting programs out there, but the one I'm most comfortable with using is 7-Zip. It's the one that I use the most. So what you'll want to do is, when you've downloaded the game, you'll want to right click, and then if you have 7-Zip installed, just click on Extract Files. As for any other zip software, I'm assuming it's the same deal with options here. If you try to extract this, you're not going to be able to extract it unless you have one of the programs. So no, it doesn't work like GBA or Visual, well, yeah, like a GBA or N64 or DS zip folder, for example, because it's a special type of zip folder, 7Z. So click on 7-Zip and then click Extract Files. Simply, when you have all of this, just simply click OK. And then all you do is you wait for this to go completely 100%. And then when you're done, you double click into your folder, you right click, and then you basically cut the file that you want. Go to your ROMs, go to PSP, right click, and then paste. So as you can see, we have SBK Superbike World Championship here, which is the first one, I believe, that was on PSP at the time. Make sure that you have your emulator closed when you're doing this. I think the list does refresh and update, but I always like to just close it anyway, just to be extra sure, essentially, that the list is updated. You can also buy PPSSPP Gold, which I believe upscales pictures and things run a little bit smoother. I've looked online, and a few people have said that the differences are kind of not as massively noticeable. If you want the extra nice visuals, then I guess the gold version is the way to go, but you can just get by just fine using this version, which is 1.9.3. I don't know if they've made a later version. So let me go into my games list and look for SBK. Since I've extracted it, it should be here. It's being a bit slow. I think it's probably because I've scrolled through the list a bit too quick. Just give it a minute to catch up with itself. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So as you can see, SBK Superbike World Championship is just here. Just simply click on the game that you downloaded in your list, and the game should play just fine. And it'll act like it's a completely fresh install, essentially. I have not played a bike game for a long time, to be honest. I'm just going to ignore that for now. And no, I'm not going to enable any save features. I'm just showcasing this for the sake of it, pretty much. These are going to be loud, so I'm turning the music off for one. Actually, I'll have it on slightly. There we go. So we'll do a quick race just to show it off. We'll go with this Yamaha bike. And I'll quickly show the gameplay in action. As you can see, it's running absolutely a-okay here. It plays a bit like MotoGP actually in a lot of ways, by the feel of the physics. So yeah, as you can see here, it's running fine. Just make sure that you have like 7-zip or something installed on your computer. I am very bad at superbike games. I've definitely got to get a bit of practice in on these types of games. The physics really feel weird compared to most arcade racing games. But yeah, make sure you have 7-zip installed, and then just, you know, basically extract the folder that way, and then drag and drop the ISO where you want it, and then make sure you have a directory folder placed for your PSP emulator. Just going to stop the emulation for now, since I've shown off what I've shown off essentially. There was one more thing that I was going to quickly mention. Oh yeah, this is it. When you make save data for your PSP games, if there's data that you don't want anymore, you just simply click on File, Open Memory Stick. Then you click on the PSP folder, and then you simply go to Save Data. And each folder will have been made up with an image of the respective games. So, I don't know, let's say there's like save data that you don't want anymore, and you want to make a fresh batch of data to play through the game again, for example, you can just delete it here. Or you could just overwrite your save as well, which is another way of doing it. And that's pretty much it for the PSP emulator. Overall, this is a really fun emulator to use, and it has a lot of good stuff going for it. Most of the games run perfectly fine on it. There's maybe a couple of instances where some games might not run as well, in which case you'll probably have to play around with the settings to get things running. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it all comes down to your hardware and resources as well being a factor when using this. But I'll put a link in the description where you can acquire the emulator and the library of games. I will also put a link in the description on where you can get 7-zip as well for extracting the ISO files. Until then, happy gaming everybody, and I will catch you in the next tutorial video. Ciao for now.